What do you do if your parents have run out of money? What if they're broke? How can you help them? What are some things that you can do to help them? If you're in this position, stay tuned because I've got 12 tips that may help you through this process. Hi, I'm Esther Kane with SeniorSafetyAdvice.com and welcome to this week's Friday FAQ. If you like this video, please click on the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We put out a new video every week. Okay, so today's question. What do you do if your elderly parents are broke? How can you help them? I have two friends who are actually going through this right now. And they're two very different situations, but at the end of the day, they're both dealing with the fact that their parents don't have enough money to live on at the moment, much less in the future. I mean, no one knows when their day will come. If we did, it'd be a lot easier to plan, right? So I'm going to give you 12 tips, and they basically fall into 4 categories. 1, you and/or the family need to know what money or what assets your parents have, and also how much money they owe and to who, or is it whom? Anyway, 2, you probably need to raise funds by selling things or moving or working. You know, your parents would be working or creating some type of income somehow. 3, it's times like this when you need to ask your family and friends and community for help. And 4, it's also time to start looking into using the many federal, state, and local resources that are available for low-income seniors. But I want you to know that you don't have to do this alone, and you really shouldn't do this alone. It's going to take a team effort to help your parents and you through this situation. Okay, so let's go over the 12 tips that are in those 4 categories, and hopefully they will be able to help you in your situation. Okay, tip number 1. It's time to have a serious conversation with your parent or parents about their situation. It may be beneficial for you and your parents to bring in a third party, like a financial planner or anyone that they would trust to talk with you to them about this process, because there's a lot of difficult decisions that are going to be coming up. Of course, you know your parents and you know what they can and will not listen to, so it's up to your discretion. But you may find it easier to speak to them if you initially speak with a therapist or a counselor that will help you to formulate how to speak to your parents about this. Reason being that most people generally feel ashamed about the situation. And I know for some parents, like mine, they can be very secretive about their personal lives, even with their children. So you want to do your best to approach the situation as well as you can initially. There's a great little book that I can recommend. It's called Mom and Dad, We Need to Talk by Cameron Huddleston. It's available on Amazon, and I have a link to it in the description below this video. Okay, that book pretty much goes over everything that you would need to know on how to start the conversation with your parents, how to talk to your siblings or family members about it, what not to say, etc. It's a good investment. All right, tip number 2. Before you start thinking about ways to raise money or moving your parents or any other big decisions, sit down with your family and your parents if they're willing and talk over what you're thinking, what your concerns are, what your worries are, and listen to what your parents also have to say and how they view the situation. More than likely, they may not view it as dire as you do. If that is the case, then you will have a harder time talking them through the process. But at the end of the day, they are adults and it is their decision. All you can do is try to help and present the situation to them. Plant the seed in their head and take it from there. But the idea is to get everyone together, the idea is to make sure that everyone is aware of what's happening, of what you're thinking, and also that they have input. Who knows, they may come up with a solution that is very viable for you. Okay, tip number 3, make a detailed list of how much money is already saved in savings accounts and investments and stocks, mutual funds, whatever. And also a detailed list of all the debts that are owed and to who they are owed. You need to have an accurate account of your parents' assets and debts, and especially also ongoing debt like TV cable bills, phone bills, mortgage, insurance, that kind of thing, so that you have an idea of what your parents' expenses are on a yearly basis. Okay. Tip number 5. Decisions will have to be made on what assets can and should be sold in order to raise any cash if that's what's needed. Also, what's harder is what lifestyle changes may need to be made. And the lifestyle changes I'm talking about are things like if your parents are living in a home and they own the home, or even if they don't own the home, if they need to sell it to downsize to a smaller space that would be more affordable. And then the other decision would be, do they downsize to a space that they purchase, or do they downsize to a space that they rent? Or do they downsize to move in with a family member, or if they have a house that's large enough that can accommodate someone moving in with them, maybe converting a basement to an apartment, that may be a viable solution as well. Another thing to decide is what items in the home can be sold in order to raise cash. I'm talking about furniture and knickknacks, clothing, anything at all that can be sold in order to put some cash in a savings account that can be used for necessary items like food, mortgage, insurance, that kind of thing. And if your parents are capable, working part-time is an option. I know in my community, I see a lot of seniors working at fast food restaurants, retail shops, the library, grocery stores. I speak to all of them because I want to know, information for my articles on the website. And it's kind of half and half. Some say they are working because they want to be out and about, and they like being out with people. Whereas others say they're working because they simply have to. So if your parents are capable and if they're willing, there are places that they can go to work and earn some income to supplement what they may already be getting from Social Security and anything else. And lastly, this happened with one of my friends. You may have to also raise some funds if your parents cannot. What happened with my friend is they ended up selling their home and downsizing themselves so that they could take the extra cash from their home and help to supplement her parents when they needed that. So don't discount this as an absolute, you're not doing it. If it's something that you have to do, know that others have done that, and it may be a viable solution for you and your family. Tip number 6, rally the troops. All siblings, all family members, and some friends, this is the time to ask for help. And this is the time, and this is how they can help. They can either contribute with money or a service. An example would be that Cousin John could mow the lawn and care for the yard so that your parents don't have to pay for a lawn service, if they decide to stay and age in place in their home. Tip number 7, take advantage of the resources available for low-income seniors. Some of the resources that are available are, of course, Medicare, which is undeniably the most popular resource for seniors. If you're not familiar with Medicare, a great primer for you is at boomerbenefits.com. I have a direct link to their page of Understanding Medicare below in the description. B, Medicaid is a program run by your state, and each state has a different Medicaid program. So I have a link also to a page with a list of contact information for Medicaid offices in each state. Go find that number, contact them, and see what Medicaid offers can offer you and your parents in your state. Also, some states have what they call state pharmaceutical assistance programs. So if your parents are on medication, these programs offer seniors offers low-income seniors a discount or a break on their prescription prices. But there's only 16 states and plus the U.S. Virgin Islands that offer this service. These states are Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Idaho, Montana, North Carolina, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, Virginia, Vermont, Wisconsin, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So if you heard your state in that list, go to the link below and you'll find some more information on these SPAPs programs. There are also a lot of pharmaceutical companies that offer PAPs, which are patient assistant programs. You can get more information on each of these, what the major pharmaceutical companies offer, as well as by doing a search by medication, by going to the link below on payingforseniorcare.com. You'll be able to see if you qualify, not only qualify, but if the medication that your parents are taking are on that list, and if that pharmaceutical company can provide you a discount on that. There's also another program called the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. Don't you love all these little abbreviations? Anyway, they help low-income individuals to buy food. Along with the SNAP program, there are multiple programs across the USA that may be able to help. Some are local, some are state, and some are federal. Again, you can find that you can find all those programs in your area by going to benefitscheckup.org. It's a great website with a lot of information that would be able to help you. And also, if you're a veteran, veteran benefits have to be taken advantage of. Contact your local VA to see what they offer you and what you can take advantage of from there. You deserve it, and thank you for your service. There are also multiple other programs available, and what you're able to get depends on what you're eligible for and where you live. Unfortunately, it's different state to state, so I can't give you a blanket list. You'll have to check on that, but you can find that information at benefitscheckup.org. They actually created a great little questionnaire that you can fill out. You don't have to sign up with them, and it gives you a list of resources depending on where you live and what you're seeking. So check it out at the link below, benefitscheckup.org, find my benefits. Okay, some other ideas that may help you is tip number 8. Growing your own food. If you have a green thumb and the space and physical capability to do so, growing your own food can certainly help to trim your grocery budget. I know in my community, in my small town, there's a community garden, which is great for families that don't have the space to garden in their own yards. And it's a great way to just grow some vegetables and also to socialize, with others. But it only works if you have a green thumb. I would have a very hard time doing that. I do not have a green thumb. Okay, tip number 9. Shopping at discount stores like Aldi's can really stretch your dollars. Hopefully you do have an Aldi's or a Lil D near you, because their prices are extremely low. And wherever you shop, make sure to ask if they offer a senior discount. A lot of places will offer discounts for seniors on a specific day, like Wednesday is senior discount day. So then you know to shop that day. It seems like a small percentage of savings, but it really adds up by the end of the year. Tip number 10, check with your utility company to find out if they will offer you a discount or if they have some kind of promotion going on. You never know. I actually have a friend who lives out in California who calls her utility companies or cable company every year to see if she can get a discount or if they are offering some promotional deal. She saves hundreds of dollars every year by doing this. I told her she should do this as a living, but she won't. But it doesn't hurt to call, and there's actually some scripts online that you can pull down that will tell you what to say when you call these types of companies to see if you can get a lower rate as to what you're paying. And it's a good tip for yourself as well, not just your parents. Tip number 11, check into the multiple services, hopefully, that you have in your area that provide low cost or free transportation for seniors. For all this information on that, actually, we have an article on our website called Where Can Senior Citizens Get Free Rides? Again, there's a link below to that article, and there's a lot of information, not only just from Lyft and Uber, but several other sources, and hopefully you have that in your area. Again, it is very localized to specific areas. Lastly, tip number 12, to save on professional caregiver costs, use the resources that are in your own private community. I mean, along with family and friends, look to places that you belong to, any clubs, churches, anything like that. Most people want to help. They just don't know how. So don't be shy. If your elderly parent requires someone to be there 24/7, you could ask someone to come and be with them one day or 5 hours, one day a week, anything at all, just to help cut down the cost of having to have a professional caregiver there. Of course, if your parent, requires medical care, then you want a professionally trained person there with your parent at all times. That's a completely different story. And in that case, I would recommend that you look into hospice. I know a lot of families and elderly cringe at the word hospice, but the reality is that hospice provides a lot of wonderful care. My mother was on hospice for months before she passed away. Her condition was terminal, but she was physically capable until just 2 days before she passed. I mean, she took care of herself. She took care of the house. She cooked, she cleaned. She was doing everything, but she was still on hospice, which was amazing because they provided volunteers. Medication got brought to the house. All the equipment got brought to the house. We had access to nurses, doctors, social workers. It was truly a blessing, and it's all paid for by Medicare. So, of course, your parent would have to qualify for hospice, but it's something to consider. It costs nothing to have an assessment, but again, you need to have that discussion with your family and your parents. Well, those are my 12 tips. I do hope that they're helpful for you, and I hope that the whole situation works out for you. Thank you so much for watching. It's truly appreciated. Again, if you like this video, let us know by clicking on the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time when I'll be doing a video on signs that your elderly parent probably shouldn't be living alone. Thanks. See you next time.